Hello and welcome to Spectrum News at 4. I am Rachel David White, coming to you live from Uyo, the capital city of Akwa Ibom State. Let's take a look at the headlines. INEC presents certificate of return to President-elect Tinubu. LP vice presidential candidate Dati vows to reclaim mandate. Plus, Turkey to hold elections on May 14th despite quake. We'll bring you details of the stories and more in a moment. First, in the news this afternoon is a report that Independent National Electoral Commission INEC today presented the certificate of return to the President-elect Bola Tinubu. The certificate was presented to Tinubu by the INEC chairman, Professor Mahmoud Yakubu, at the International Conference Center in Abuja, the nation's capital. His running mate Kashim Shettima also got his certificate of return at the honoring 8,794,726 votes to defeat his closest rival Atiku Abubakar of the PDP, who scored 6,984,520. Tinubu, the All Progressives Congress flag bearer, took his first shot at the presidency for the first time in a keenly contested race. The 70-year-old man, former Lagos governor, came out top in 12 of Nigeria's 36 states and secured significant numbers in several other states to claim the highest number of votes. In another development, Vice President Yemi Osinbajo is presiding over the Federal Executive Council FEC meeting at the State House, Abuja. This week's Federal Executive Council meeting is the first after the presidential elections, which saw the emergence of the All Progressives Congress, Bola Tinubu, as president-elect. Present are the Secretary to Government of the Federation, Boss Mustafa, the Head of Civil Service of the Federation, Dr. Folashade Yemiesa, National Security Advisor Babagana Mongunu, and the President's Chief of Staff, Professor Ibrahim Gambari. Also, the chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission, Professor Mahmoud Yakubu. Ministers who are attending include the Ministers of Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Management and Social Development, Sadiya Farouk, Finance, Zainab Ahmed, Industry, Trade and Investment, Niyi Adebayo, Agriculture, Mohammed Abubakar, Aviation, Hadi Silika, Niger Delta, Omana, Power, Abubakar Aliyu, Youth and Sports, Sunday Dare, Transportation, Muazu Sambo, and Environment, Mohammed Abdullahi, amongst others. We'll bring you details of his meetings in our subsequent bulletins. And now on electoral matters. The Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, had declared the All Progressives Congress presidential candidate Bola Tinubu as president-elect. Tinubu, a former Lagos State governor, was declared the president after the 70-year-old pulled out 8,794,726 votes to win the 2023 presidential election. The INEC chairman, Mahmoud Yakubu, announced Tinubu as the winner at the International Collation Center in Abuja during the early hours of today.
Tinubu Bola Ahmed of the APC, having satisfied the requirements of the law is hereby declared the winner and is returned elected. Thank you.
In the meantime, the President-elect Bola Tinubu has offered insight into how his administration will pilot the affairs of the nation. He said he was ready to listen and take a difficult route in ensuring Nigerians see better days and the country of their dreams. He stated these at the APC Presidential Campaign Council headquarters in Abuja shortly after he was declared the winner of the presidential poll. According to him, peace, unity and prosperity will be cornerstones of the country, assuring that he would be the chief servant while serving Nigeria with all his ability.
I just need to say thank you. We have made a promise to the country. We have rewritten the map of Nigeria. I want to single out for you to learn one thing: conflict and conflict resolution mechanism. We have created the biggest democracy as Nigerians.
Meanwhile, President Muhammadu Buhari has congratulated the winner of the just concluded presidential election, Bola Tinubu, on his victory in the 2023 polls. Reacting to the results, Buhari described the president-elect as the best person for the job, adding that he will work with him and his team to ensure an orderly handing over of power. From the red chambers, the Senate has congratulated the All Progressives Congress APC presidential candidate Bola Tinubu on his victory in the just concluded 2023 presidential elections. During plenary, the Senate President Ahmed Lawan described Tinubu's victory as historic. He urged all lawmakers to be in attendance for the issuing of the certificate of return to the president-elect, which will take place by 3 p.m. at the International Conference Center in Abuja, the nation's capital. And still on electoral matters, President Muhammadu Buhari and President-elect Bola Tinubu have asked the People's Democratic Party and Labour Party not to resort to violence but approach the court to seek redress over their claims that Saturday's presidential election was marred by rigging. Recall that the opposition parties had, during the collation of results, called for a cancellation of the election and also asked the Independent National Electoral Commission Chairman Mahmoud Yakubu to step down from his position over claims that the election was rigged in favor of the ruling party. Reacting to the claims in a statement, the president asked the opposition party to approach the court and prove their case. In a related development, the All Progressives Congress Presidential Campaign Council has urged the presidential candidates of the People's Democratic Party, Atiku Abubakar, and the Labour Party, Peter Obi, to accept defeat and congratulate Nigeria's president for the cancellation of the presidential election. Recall that PDP and LP on Tuesday held a media briefing against the conduct of Saturday's presidential election. The parties also called on the Independent National Electoral Commission to cancel the election. Meanwhile, Yobe State Governor Mai Mala Buni said Nigerians have elected the best team in Asiwaju Bola Tinubu and Kashim Shettima to run the affairs of the country. Buni, while congratulating the president-elect, in a statement by his spokesman, Maman Mohammed, said the election of the doors signifies great hope for the country. In the meantime, Vice Presidential candidate of the Labour Party, Yusuf Dati Baba Ahmed, today vowed to reclaim the party's mandate, noting that he and the LP candidate Peter Obi won the election. He made this known in a statement he signed today, hours after the Independent noted that since election results were unable to be transmitted electronically, there was no election. The Commission has trained 30 journalists in Gombe State at the one-day capacity building workshop organized for journalists. The Federal Commissioner of the National Population Commission for Gombe, Abubakar Danbura, noted that census was a unique opportunity for Nigerians to be enumerated. Damburam said that the Commission has also trained state facilitators in the effective covering through the use of digital personnel assistant device. He said local government ad hoc staff comprising supervisors and enumerators would also be trained. In another development, the trial of former Accountant General of the Federation, AGF Ahmed Idris, on alleged 109 billion naira corruption charges was today stalled at the High Court of the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja, over the disappearance of one of his statements he made to the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission during investigations. The statement dated July 5, 2022 could not be located by EFCC in its own file, that of the High Court as well as that of the defense team. At today's proceedings, the anti-graft agency through its counsel, Ola Waleke Atolagbe, had kick-started the trial within trial following the denial by the ex-accountant general, but some of the statements he made to EFCC in respect of the 109 billion naira alleged fraud were made voluntary. Idris, who was rearraigned last October, had persistently alleged that the key statement proposed by the EFCC to be used against him and the alleged corruption charges were met under duress. Following the allegation, Justice Halilu Yusuf ordered a trial within trial to authenticate the claim. Moving now to Africa, where civil society and human rights groups have called on the UN to block efforts by the Ethiopian government and an independent probe into crimes allegedly committed during a brutal civil war in the country's north. The more than 60 organizations include Amnesty International and Human Rights Watch. In a letter written to the UN Human Rights Council member state, the organization said they were alarmed by plans by Addis Ababa to present a resolution that seeks to cut short a UN-mandated inquiry. Meanwhile, Ethiopia has resisted the UN's International Commission of Human Rights Experts on Ethiopia, ICHREE, since its inception in 2021, calling it politically motivated, and had previously attempted to cut its funding. And still in Africa, over 1,000 Kenyan traders have reportedly protested in the capital Nairobi against Chinese traders. Reports say the demonstration comes in the wake of controversy elicited by the coming of China's Square retail outlet of general merchandise, whose prices are on average 45% lower than those prevailing in locally owned enterprises. Meanwhile, Trade Minister Moses Kuria has offered to take over China Square's lease from its Chinese owner and hand it to local traders. But Korea Singo Oe, the principal secretary at Kenya's Ministry of Foreign Affairs, stressed on Twitter that all investors are welcome, irrespective of their nationality. On a foreign scene, President Recep Tayyip Erdogan has ruled out any delay in elections after the devastating earthquake in February and said a vote would be held on May 14th. Speaking to his ruling party lawmakers in the parliament in Ankara, the president said Turkish people will do what is necessary on May 14th. The Turkish leader previously proposed holding the crunch election on May 14th that could keep his Islamic-rooted government in power until 2028. But after the massive quake that allegedly killed more than 45,000 people in Turkey, there had been suspicion whether that vote could go ahead as planned. Meanwhile, Erdogan has declared a 3-month state of emergency across 11 quake-hit provinces. The region is still suffering from strong tremors, making the likelihood of campaigning in the area extremely unlikely. And still to come in the news, former France striker Just Fontaine dies at 89. Thanks for staying with us. On our business news, the International Monetary Fund (IMF) has disclosed that only 24% of loans disbursed under the Anchor Borrowers Program (ABP) of the Central Bank of Nigeria (CBN) have been repaid. This disclosure was contained in a IMF's Selected Issues paper on Nigeria, which was prepared by a staff team of the fund as background documentation for the periodic consultation with the country. It was noted that the document was based on the information available of the time it was completed on January 12, 2023. According to the IMF, agricultural credits in the country has not significantly boosted production, even though there is a challenge of targeting the right recipients for the credits. The IMF noted that although the CBN allows farmers to pay in kind or cash under the ABP, repayments have been very low. Reports say the Anchor Borrowers Program, established in 2016, initially set aside 40 billion naira to support farmers by offering single-digit interest rate loans. However, over 1 trillion naira had been disbursed through mid-2022 from the program, with CBN providing a rising share of banking system agricultural financing. Still in business, the federal government, under the Advertising Regulatory Council of Nigeria (ACAN), has warned players in the digital media space that further contravention of the newly promulgated ACAN Act will attract severe sanctions ranging from various fines to 1 year imprisonment of relevant officials. ACAN Director General Olalekan Fedelapo stated this during an interactive session with digital agencies, bloggers, and content creators. Fedelapo said ACAN, which is backed by the Ministry of Information and Culture and the National Assembly, would begin rolling out sanctions to erring advertising practitioners effective March 1, 2023. According to him, sanctions will cut across primary digital space owners, big techs including Meta, Google, Twitter, among others, down to secondary digital space owners, which comprises content creators, skit makers, and influencers responsible for marketing communication in these platforms. Fadolapo reiterated that ACAN does not seek to regulate social media and clamp down on free speech, but to ensure that promotional content communicated via the digital media conforms to standards as prescribed by the ACAN law. In health, the former president of the Association of Psychiatrists of Nigeria, Professor Taiwo Sheikh, has urged Nigerians to embrace happiness to enhance their optimal mental well-being. Sheikh of the Psychiatric Department, College of Medical Sciences, Ahmadu Bello University, Zaria, met the code in an interview with newsmen in Lagos. He urged people to always share their thoughts with positive-minded people to boost their happiness and mental health. The medical expert said that engaging in positive activities that give happiness while avoiding anger will help in promoting optimal mental well-being and prevent depression. The psychiatrist, who noted that there could be no physical health without mental health, advised people to get themselves surrounded by positive-minded people in the interest of their mental well-being. Still in health, a large study has revealed that 1 in 10 early deaths could be prevented if everyone engaged in a small amount of daily exercise, such as a brisk 11-minute walk. Meta-analysis published in the British Journal of Sports Medicine disclosed that 75 minutes a week or less than 11 minutes a day walk could prevent 1 in 10 of those early deaths. That included a 17% reduction of heart disease and a 7% fall in cancer. Reports say cardiovascular diseases such as heart attacks and stroke killed 17.9 million people globally in 2019, while cancer accounted for nearly 10 million deaths in the following year, according to the World Health Organization. To sports now, where former France striker Just Fontaine, who holds the record for the most goals scored in a single World Cup, has died at the age of 89. Fontaine scored 13 goals in just 6 matches for France at the 1958 World Cup in Sweden as they finished third. He is joined fourth on the all-time World Cup goal scorers list alongside Argentine's Lionel Messi. Fontaine is also remembered for helping to form French Players Union, the UNFP, becoming its first president in 1961. In 2004, was named on Brazil legend Pele's list of the 125 greatest living footballers. In basketball, Nikola Jokic became the 6th player in the NBA history to complete 100 career triple-doubles as the Denver Nuggets beat the Houston Rockets 133-112. Jokic, the two-time reigning NBA valuable player, finished with 14 points, 11 rebounds, and 10 assists. The 28-year-old has 24 triple-doubles this season and 15 in his last 20 games. Elsewhere, LeBron facing several over the Dallas Mavericks on Sunday. The Memphis Grizzlies exploited James' absence to beat the Lakers 1-1 over 109, with Jay Martin scoring 28 points in the third quarter. They overturned a halftime deficit of 3 points as James watched wearing a protective boot. On entertainment, Nigerian singer Paul Okoye, also known as Rude Boy of P-Square, has broken silence amid the victory of Bola Tinubu in the 2023 presidential election. Okoye, who is an avid supporter of the Labour Party presidential candidate Peter Obi, took to his Instagram page to share a post in the wake of Tinubu's victory. Okoye shared a picture of Obi describing him as the only man changing the narrative in the country. Still on entertainment, Nigerian megastar Burna Boy and fast-rising sensation Victani will be joining American music stars Drake, Usher and Summer Walker as part of the J. Cole's 2023 Dreamville Festival in North Carolina. Day one on Saturday will be headlined by multi-platinum selling R&B global superstar Usher, with additional performances from Lil Durk, Ari Lennox, City Girls, Sean Paul, F-Gang, JC Reyes, and Key Glock, among others, while Sunday features one of the world's biggest international superstars, Burna Boy, as well as a curated selection of artists like Summer Walker, J.I.D., Glorilla Bass, Waka Flocka Fame, Mario, and many more. To close out the 2023 edition of Dreamville Festival on Sunday night, J. Cole will welcome fellow international icon Drake to appear as a special guest during his headlining set on the festival main stage, as the two will perform a medley of hits from each other off their chart-topping catalogs. And that's all we have for you at this time. Do ensure to follow us on social media and subscribe to our YouTube channel, all of which you can find on our website, spectrumtv.ng. You have been watching Spectrum News at 4. I am Rachel David White. Enjoy the rest of your day.